Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells.
Hello, welcome to a slightly different Gull'S eye view. We've got in person, so I've got Paul joining us, the man himself. Thank you for joining us.
No problem.
We've got Clive as well. And we're
Morning,
gonna,
boys.
yes, that's
Welcome,
good.
Clive.
And we're just going to have a bit of a preview for the season. Paul, well, 12 months ago, it's quite a different pre-season. How's this pre-season been sort of different?
It's gone really well. I'm not going to say recruitment was easier this year,
No.
but it was a lot more. We could be a lot more methodical, take our time, and wait longer for answers. So it was less stressful this year. Let's put it that way. So we already had a core of players from last season, and I think as a manager, it's really important to not let your best players go out of contract. Which we did well last year, and we've added to it this year. It's been great. It's been the new additions have definitely brought the standard of training up, and the players who were here last year have risen to that standard as well. So, I mean, other than the second half against Plymouth, it's all been pretty good.
We talk about we actually did that preview last night, didn't we, Clive? We were talking about especially the midfield, because last season you literally had the whole squad to build.
Yeah.
This season it was right. We've got a good core. Now it's time to add to what we need. Talk about some of the like Worthington, some of the players that you brought in, like the sort of journey to get them in, and kind of how important that is to add to what we already have.
Yeah, I think. Listen, it was no secret that I wanted to completely revamp the midfield. It was an area I thought we, without being disrespectful, I thought we lacked certain qualities in there last season. So Nashi Sundari was the first one we signed, who's very combative, puts his foot in, can play off of either foot as well. Good football player, good athlete. He was playing for Tamworth last year in the league above. So there was a definite thing recruitment wise this year as well, to try to recruit from players who were playing higher or have played higher. So, or have been part of a successful team in this league. So it was that was something that we definitely looked at and tried for. So Nashi fitted that bill. He come to my attention around Christmas time last year. Watched him a couple of times, and just my type of player.
Yeah.
He's had a little grumbling calf injury in pre-season, so he's a little bit behind fitness-wise than other players. But he played his first real 45 minutes at Weymouth on Saturday. Then we added Callum Dolan, who's a fantastic football player, got so much ability. And he's got an edge to him as well, which I like. I really like that.
From one year before, he was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, well, that's when I first noticed him. So when I was managing Truro, and he came in and done really well in a short period of time. So kept an eye on him. And Callum became available, and we got him. And then we already had Dan Hayfield. And then Sonny Low-Everton is a player that I've admired for a long time. And I didn't think he would be available, but he became available. Again, when players like that become available, you have to jump on it. And Matt Worthington is someone that I've been chasing for pretty much since I got the Torquay job. And it hasn't worked for whatever reason. He went to Oldham, and sometimes in football moves work and sometimes they don't. And it was a bit of a sliding doors moment, and it just coincided with, I know his agent, and it just one day got a phone call and said that it might happen now. And budget wise, was pretty much out budget, so the Bryn gave me a little bit extra to get Worthy in. As you already know, he's been announced as club captain as well. So that's exactly what he is. He does a bit of everything well. He's been successful. He's a great age, 27, and he fits the bill perfectly. So, listen, I'm gonna have a few sleepless nights trying to pick him midfield, but I think what it allows us to do is, because the league's so grueling, 46 games. I think it lets you, if we're playing, I can only go off. So we're Enfield Saturday, away to Maidstone, then home to Tottenham on the Tuesday. I think it allows us to play against Tottenham to freshen it up and not weaken the team. I think that's a really big thing, and I don't think we could do that last year. I thought, especially in the last 15 games, certain players were really starting to feel the season catching up with them. So it's got midfield's been revamped massively.
That's fantastic.
And you were saying, Paul, on Saturday, you see it as more of a squad game these days, don't you?
Yeah.
With bigger benches. Do
Yeah.
you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, I think it's obviously this season we're 7 subs now. You can still only use 5 from 7, but pre-season it used to be that you had to play like 3 or 4 90-minute games to feel like you was ready to play 90 minutes on the Saturday. I don't think that's the case anymore, because in a weird way it's becoming a little bit more like rugby, where it's almost premeditated substitutions. You know, so you're almost saying to a player, you give me 60 minutes flat out, we're going to bring on a like for like replacement for the last 30 minutes, and then that might change the game after. So it's I think gone are the days of your set 11 playing 90 minutes for 46 games. I think those days have gone, and they're definitely going that way.
Do you think that makes for a better game? I mean, sometimes I watch football and you almost feel as though it gets a bit disjointed when you get lots of subs, but I guess if you've got strength all the way through.
Yeah, I think, do you know what, I was guilty of last season. I rushed a few subs, and I would make maybe 2 subs, 5 minutes later, another sub, 5 minutes after that, and then I think it does become disjointed. But if you've already worked on it in training and you're like, look, boys, whatever's happening, this is the change that's going to happen, then I think you get away from that. But I do agree with you, it can be. And I was guilty of that last time. There's a few home games, I was like, you know, if you lose, I'm like, right, chuck him on there. And I've learned from that, and it does become disjointed, because when you come on, as I say, it does take you a little bit of time to get to the pace of the game. So but I think if you know you're coming on and you know the job that I want you to do, then I think it's easier to do.
That's fantastic. I mean, I was talking about last season, it was just, from a fan's point of view, it's just amazing to see the club and coming all back, as we all know, and just come so close. What was it actually like to be a manager during all that time, like during, especially near the end, the running, all that kind of stuff, to really see like the club united and that kind of stuff? And then what do you take from, because we had Paul Buckle on about 10, who was our manager about 10, 15 years ago, took us up and all that, and he spoke very highly about yourself, and the similarities very different, very similar, aren't they, Clive, where it's like, we just missed out on that first season, the second season we actually went up, but he said all about how couldn't do it without the fans, if the fans hadn't sort of been behind me the whole way. What was it like being in charge of a club like this at the moment?
It was a massive learning curve last season, and I'll be brutally honest with you, that I was surprised by the support. It was unbelievable last year. I think we've sold more season tickets this year as well, so it just keeps keeps building, and I was very grateful for it. Tremendous support, even games we should have won or points we threw away, which happens in football, and the fans were still very supportive, which was great. And to miss out on the league by 2 goals was obviously sickening. Now, if I'm being honest, I'm not convinced we were ready to get promoted. I'm really not. That doesn't mean I didn't want to. That, don't get that mixed up. I was desperate to get promoted, and I genuinely thought, going into the Hemel game, I genuinely thought we were going to win the league on that day, because I didn't envisage what was going to happen down at Truro. But so be it, and that's football. But it's we've learned a lot. The players who were here last year have learned to deal with crowds, learned to deal with big games, because we didn't deal with the biggest game of the season well enough. That's a fact. So they'll all learn from that. I'll learn from that. I think we're better this year. Now, that doesn't mean everyone else hasn't improved. We're putting a negative on it and calming it down.
It will be a tougher league, I feel.
But I feel much more ready this year. I think we've got a better squad. I think we're ready. But also other teams will have improved massively as well. So
but we can only focus on what we do. Really.
Exactly.
I think it is an interesting one, going from a squad which has obviously sort of got that kind of learning curve, and then you've added it, and we talked about some of the players that have come in. What was your kind of thing with like the home crowd? So obviously it's a different one in a lot of different, say if we're in League 1, League 2, it would be 4,000 Torquay, say, and then 400, 500 away. Obviously here it's a little bit different. It's almost like, it's fantastic away support you get from the fans themselves, but the smaller clubs, and it also, it comes a bit of a like cup final. I hate that term, but it does become a little bit like that.
It's fact though, it's true.
It's factual. So it's almost about balancing that as well as what we need to do.
I think home games can be a little bit more difficult than away games. When we play certain teams, some fans expect us to be 3-4 up at half time. It's just not that easy.
No.
And because the Torquay badge weighs heavy.
Yeah.
It's a lot of expectation on it, and it's something that players have got to deal with, and that brings me back to the players who were here last season will be able to deal with that better now, because the only way you learn to deal with a new environment or expectation is to go through it and live it. And they've lived it last year, and the expectation was huge, and it will be again, quite rightly. But we have to deal with teams coming down. Listen, I did it when I was Truro manager. Come here, and we probably ran harder on that day than we did all season. Do you know what I mean? So but it happens. It works like that. It works, and something we've got to deal with. So that's another reason we've recruited players. Louis Dennis, people who have been there and done it, and who can handle that pressure, because whatever game of football you're playing in, there's always pressure. There's always pressure. So it's just handling it.
I think Saturday's an interesting one, isn't it? Because if we're honest, nobody's going to give Enfield a chance coming down here. We beat them twice last season. They did really well to stay up.
They did great. They did really
didn't
well.
they?
Really well.
It's superb, because they lost out of their squad first half of the season as well, didn't they?
They did great.
I suppose the question about Saturday is, I'm guessing you won't have. There won't be a massive library of Enfield videos from pre-season, I'm guessing. Have you got a game plan specifically for that, or is it more of a case of, come on, we've got good players, let's go out and do it?
It's a really good point. I think there's so I'm learning all the time. I think I have in the past been very caught up with who we're playing and what shape they're playing, how they're playing, what their set pieces are, and you distract from yourselves. I think there's definitely a case of, this is how we're going to play, this is what we're going to do. If we do that, we've got a really good chance of winning the game. And I think you have to make the players trust themselves and believe in that process. And with all due respect, whether you're playing Enfield or Real Madrid, you're going to try and win the game. So you have to be right yourself before you worry about the others. Now, I've got the video of I've seen some of Enfield's pre-season games this year. I know their manager from when he was at Met Police as well. Very well organised, really well coached. Every game's tough. I know it's a cliche. Every game's tough, but we'll be ready to try and win the game on Saturday, as will Enfield. So, but it's a really good point. I think you definitely have to worry about yourself. Maybe 70-30.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
On that sort of topic, actually, sort of in management in general, say if there's any like young coaches or new coaches. When you're a manager and you've got, right, I'm going to become a manager, how do you like sort of impose like the style of football and all that sort of stuff, and what your key sort of things are? Because you spoke about invitation flight, and I was absolutely fascinated by it, to be honest, but how you built your identity. But if there's a manager out there, like, do you get that whilst you sort of grow up playing it, or is it just kind of it happens?
I think being an ex-footballer and the way I played, it's nice for your team to have your personality. Yeah. Okay. So, but last year, and sometimes we had to play a certain way because we had certain players. Yeah. So, I would love for my goalkeeper to get the ball, drop it on the 6-yard box, go bang, 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 all through. I love football. Football's beautiful when it's played like that. It's great, but you have to win as well. At times last year we definitely could have played more. 100%. We were too reliant on Cody Cook. Yeah. But then did we have the squad to not be like that? So it's, that's my philosophy. Isn't get the ball forward to Cody as quick as we can and we'll score. That's not, but sometimes you have to do different things to win games of football. Sometimes you have to sit in on the edge of your box and be ugly and do all that. We all want to play we all want to win 6-0 and be amazing and score these beautiful goals, but no one really cares if the goal's a 30-yard top corner or 1-yard poke, toe poke. No one cares. I
really like that, actually, because we see it a little bit in football, and now where it is, people just want to play a certain way, and actually, you've also, the manager was also to make the best of what the squad there is. So yeah, that's a really interesting one, actually.
But you look at football now. You've got Arsenal with a long throw. Yeah. Set piece coaches. Yeah. It goes full circle. Yeah. You had Worthing last year, arguably one of the best footballing teams in the league. When they had the longest throw in the league, Truro have won the league with Oxenchain, who's got one of the longest throws. We haven't got a long throw, so it's football changes, and football will always be won and lost in boxes. It's as simple as that.
I was actually don't ask where I got there, but I was actually at Newport's game in the weekend, and they were trying to play sort of pass football. Their goal came from a long throw. Yeah. that's how it is.
That's it.
Against a team that had probably about 3 or 4 times the budget,
Yeah.
playing nice football, but their goal came from a long throw, and it's just that,
football won't change.
yeah,
It will
no.
always be that. It's how you get into the box is two different things.
Yeah.
You know, so.
My son will kill me for this, right? And
Go on.
it's a bit self-indulgent as well, but he's going to be coaching a year 7 football team next year.
Yeah.
So 11-year-olds.
Yeah.
It's his first coaching gig. Have you got any advice for him?
Yeah, run.
They can run.
Run and tackle. No, I don't know. I think it's just they got to play. They got to play. Smile at that age. Smile. I would say. I think that's one big thing that goes out of football now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, can I honestly say I thoroughly enjoy the 90 minutes when I'm stood there? No. You know, do you smile a lot? No. It's you got to try and enjoy it a little bit more. I think everyone tells me that. So it's the players have got to enjoy it. So I think when you're enjoying your job, because ultimately it is your job, even though you know it's a fantastic one. If you're not enjoying it, you're not going to produce your best work, are you?
That's
So
a really good point, actually. What is it like as a manager on the
Brutal.
sideline?
It's
Is it
brutal.
brutal? Is it just
Brutal.
constant? I bet you're absolutely like mentally drained. when you
it's
get
not an enjoyable job.
I don't know much. There's bits of it, but it's the actual when you get there.
It's crazy. It's
yeah.
when you're a football player, when you play and you lose, yeah, you're down, yeah, you can, but then you have a couple of beers and you're like, I'll put that right next game.
Yeah.
It's all good, I'll put that right next game. And you've also got 10 other blokes who are taking the brunt with you.
Yeah.
When you're the manager, you feel so responsible. When you lose, it's awful.
Yeah.
It chews you up. It ruins your weekend. It changes your behaviour. It shouldn't, but it does. For me, it does. I'm only speaking about myself.
Yeah.
And when you win, you don't actually get that high because you sit on the butt. It's almost a relief.
Yeah.
You almost go, right, we've won. And you think, oh, geez, we've got them now. Now we've got to go on. When you lose, you don't think if I lose, I don't go, oh, we got Worthing Tuesday. I'm just almost sulk a little bit, go into a little bit of a recluse for a little bit. But that's on me. I need to get better at that. But it's listen, it's a great job, and it's the second best thing to play in. But
yeah, I think it's good that you do go through that though, actually, and actually sit in the emotions. Well, it's probably better than just. Yeah.
I'm quite an emotional person, so I can't share. I wish I wasn't. I wish I was a lot
Same,
more. I wish I was a lot more level, you know. But yeah, you see some managers, don't you? Never up, never down. They just you know. But I'm a bit like that, so. But, might get better with age, but I'm not getting any younger, and it's not getting any better.
You've got Mikey Edwards full time this year, haven't you? Is that going to help?
It's huge. Already, it's huge. Now we can do gym sessions before training. We can do unit work. I can take the defenders, he can take the forwards, or vice versa. We can do individual. We can take a player out and work individually now. Whereas last year, Mikey would only come down Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and the workload was huge. And I'm not going to lie. At the end of last season, I was exhausted, absolutely drained emotionally and physically. And Mikey's what we've just described. Mikey's, you know, very calm.
Yeah.
You know, if we're 2-0 down and I'm doing mine, and he's Paul, calm down. It's good. We're okay. And he always sees the positive in something. Whereas I might be like, we're not doing this. We're not. Yeah, but Paul, we're doing this. We're doing this really well. We're doing this. He's great. He's fun. It's
a really good balance.
One of the best signings we've made this year. Brilliant.
That's fantastic. What did you? I was just thinking actually, like going through like last year. Obviously, we had some interesting sort of battles, sort of tactically. What sort of? Well, I remember that was a Dorking one.
Yeah,
Dorking away. That was a memorable day for all of us.
Yeah,
absolutely loved it. Those sort of battles. I also remember the clip. I looked at a bunch of amateurs there show, and you've got Mark White going off, and you in the background, and there's Betty just going like that. And it's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. What was it like, sort of, when you're in that sort of moment with these sort of managers? Because a lot of very good managers and sort of clubs and all that, you know, got Dagenham now, and obviously
of course,
they're getting a lot of the Sky Sports sort of like the Andy Carroll factor. But what is that like in this league? There's always this thing, I feel like, in the National League South, where it's a really talented league, but there's a lot of inconsistency in teams, and it's also like the most consistent team obviously wins, and that's about any league.
Yeah.
But so what's it sort of been like last season, and how do you reckon it will be different this season, or much the same?
I just think everyone's getting better.
Yeah.
I think everyone's getting better. You see the standard of player that people are signing, including us.
Yeah.
You know, players from above the level. Louis Dennis was playing League Two last year, you know. So it's everyone's getting better. Budgets are getting bigger.
Yeah.
The wages are getting astronomical at some clubs. Huge. Crowds are getting bigger.
Yeah.
And I think it's very, very expensive, isn't it, to watch Premier League and Championship football?
And more people come down.
Yeah, and you know, like podcasts and the bunch of amateurs and taking flight and all things like that. People are becoming really interested and invested in non-league football.
Yeah, that's great.
And even saying non-league football, I don't know factually how many full-time teams there are in National League South. It must be up around double figures now. It's got to be.
Yeah, because I was saying, we did a preview episode last night, Joe, maybe on Thursday, and I said, the signings we made this summer, if we had gone up and they walked through the door, we're like, great.
Yeah.
So I think that's the standard. Would you argue almost like the difference between the National League and the South maybe is closing a little bit?
Yeah.
So maybe the teams that do go up won't struggle as much. I feel like that.
I mean, National League, I've never managed or played in National League. I speak to a lot of people and they say the jump is huge.
Yeah.
Which hopefully we find out.
Yeah.
But there's some really good players in National League South, top players.
Yeah.
And I think it's just getting better. And I think it's just drip fed all the way down because Premier League players are now going Championship and League One and so on and so on. And it's, you know, you see teams at step 3 now and they're signing players. You're like, wow, I would take him all day long. It's just the way it's going. The money at the minute's like just insane. It's crazy.
But the main thing is, it's having that unity. It's having that sort of plan.
Look
at Churro last season.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, you touched on it earlier.
Yeah.
It's about what you do.
Yeah, exactly. It's
you
not
know,
about everyone else.
so whoever anyone signs, great.
Yeah.
Perfect. We haven't got them, so we've got to find a way of, you know, of Torquay United being as good and as strong as we can possibly be. And I think we've improved from last year. Now, does that mean we're going to go and get 92 points? I don't know. I hope so.
Yeah.
And that might be enough to do it this year. It might not be. I don't know. It might be less. It might be more. But I feel like we're in a better place, and I feel like I've got more players to choose from for the starting 11, which is good.
Yeah.
I suppose this is a bit of a tough question then, really, isn't it? Have you been given expectations for this year? What's success
from the board?
Yeah.
Mid-table.
What is? I'm trying to be realistic here.
No, listen.
There's people spending fortunes, probably fortunes that they can't afford, right?
Yeah.
This club is trying to live within its means far as it can.
It is.
And what that might mean is, it's certainly last year, your playing budget wasn't close to the Boreham Woods of this world, was it?
No.
I would imagine there's probably other people spending more this year.
Yep.
What is success for Torquay this season?
I think we all know the answer. To that. It's expectation levels will never go away from Torquay United while we're in the National League South. They probably won't go away if we were fortunate enough to get promoted. And I would never be that person who sits here and say, I think we're going to do this. I know football, and I'm not. I would never lower myself to be that person who does that. I respect every team and manager we're playing against, and I would never be that person. If we end up where we want to get to, you may only get one season in National League Premier. Before then, the fans would be like, well, I expect us to go up now and be in League Two. So there's always going to be there, the expectation. I think, listen, without saying it, everyone knows what the expectation is. I haven't had that chat with the board, but they're as ambitious as me, and we all want the same. We all want the same common goal. You know, does every team in the National League South starting next week want to get promoted? No, they don't, because of financial. You know, the budget goes up and more expense and so on. There's a good 10 to 12 who are all desperate to win the league.
Yeah.
You know, and we're one of them.
Great question, great answer. I reckon that'll wrap us up nicely, actually, so you get
Cool.
to the fans forum. Lovely
Absolutely.
stuff. Lovely stuff.
No problem. Enjoyed it.
It just remains for us to say, mate, good luck.
Good luck.
I
We're all
appreciate
behind you.
We always need
all
that.
the way.
Listen, we always
Absolutely.
need
We're
that.
all
And I know you
behind
will be. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's
we're all
great.
behind you, and good luck for the season.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining us today.
No, perfect.
And cheers.
Take care.
Will do.
Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. He stays onside. Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells.